cause a little bit of a stir in Gracklstuk. How that pays off, how that works out, you'll never know, because you've left the town, going on your way to a place that probably is a little bit more politically stable, and also not predicated on a boss who is completely insane.
Hopefully.
Honestly, the biggest benefit of leaving Gracklstuk is that your lungs slowly but surely can cleanse out the endless amount of black. Just, ugh. You haven't been there long enough for it to really matter, but ugh, you can tell that the air is clean out here.
We can bring the normal cave tank.
Hey, listen, Bella, if you can't appreciate the normal cave tank, what are you even doing? What are you even doing?
I'm not hating.
So, that's not sad of town. You make your way. You follow the lovely little boy that you got, little plappy boy with little feeties.
Yeah. Stew.
He's got the plop feeties. It will take you 12 days to get there. Luckily, you're not hucking around an extremely large egg, or... What the fuck? You're not hucking around an extremely large egg.
Which is good.
Oh god. What the... Weird. If you were hucking around an extremely large egg, you would be moving much slower, but luckily, at the rate you're going, you managed to get out of the... Let's call it the toxin zone. Like the area where Gracklstuk significantly impacts the environment, because, you know, it's still a cave. Any ventilation you build are going to have only so much effectiveness compared to the outside air. And even, like, people vastly underestimate how even the outside air can only do so much for you in terms of airflow. Ugh.
I mean, are we ever really outside in the Underdark?
Have you ever lived next to what's called like a tannery? I heard it's great.
Stinks.
I was next to a cannery.
It's a whole different process.
Yeah, it's probably a little bit pleasant. I would hope.
It's very loud.
Ka-ka-ka-ching.
So yeah, I hope everyone else has food.
I don't need to eat. I am just fine.
Well, maybe you guys rummaged through town as you were evacuating.
I think you packed up like a whole bunch of food that you found anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, but 11 days for more people is a lot of food.
Plus, we still have some left over from our last trip.
I actually got a giant bundle of kelp still.
Also, you have 1, 2, 3. Okay. Those are all small boys, so that's like one person. You also have 4 additional people from, you know, your group. Sort of. It's more like 3 3/4, but... Because they're small people. Small people eat less. Although I guess Prince... No, he's also medium. Huh.
I haven't saved our friends.
Luckily. Alright. Is there anything you would like to specifically note before you make your way over to Neverlight Grove and see what all the mushrooms are about?
I'm just curious if we'll run into anything.
Gosh, if you were going by land, you would be there in like a couple of days. But nope.
Caves, y'all.
This is where the caves get swirly-whirly in on themselves. I mean, people vastly underestimate the amount of times in the Underdark that you go into like a loop you have to climb. People in general don't really understand that going through a cave is goofy and weird, and the reason you get turned around is because sometimes you double back on yourself vertically, and the human mind doesn't handle that kind of verticality as well, I imagine. Layers, very good at that. Interwoven 3-dimensional shapes. Your brain starts to hurt. Ow.
Ouchie.
In fact, on your first day, something really interesting is what you stumble across on your way there. You stumble across a large open cave that's beside your own. It's on this elevated ledge, but you can see it from down here. You heard this hissing when you approached, but now it's like, okay, I'm next to the source of the hissing, and I should be able to see it. You know, the difference between hearing direct and indirect sound. Up on a shelf, like about 10 feet, is a series of immense mushrooms that seem to have grown over a series of gas vents that are venting out all kinds and colors of gas. The mushrooms themselves appear to trap this gas under their immense caps, and slowly but surely suck it up again.
Ooh.
Nature sure is interesting.
Nature sure is weird. Looks at the fairy.
As you
What do
guys,
you think of that stool?
Stool thinks it's probably not healthy
Yeah, we
for
should
those
avoid
mushrooms. That is.
Oh,
Jim Jar, on the other hand, kind of like nudges one of you. Let's say Abigail. Abigail, you get a little nudge in your knee from this little guy. I think it was a deep gnome. Yep. It's like, hey, how about 10 gold says you can eat that stuff without getting hurt.
I mean,
10 gold.
I don't have the confidence in myself to eat a mushroom that's been inhaling gas, but
I mean, these mushrooms are pretty large. It probably means you just take a slice.
hmm.
but I'll give you a critical item if you drink this vial labeled poison.
I'm gonna have to pass, buddy. But I mean, we should probably collect some of these if you know it could be useful.
I'll
What?
give you 10 gold if you eat one of those. We flick over to the goblin counting coin.
I'm gonna climb up the shelf and staying away from the gas. I can examine the mushrooms.
As
see
I
if they-
mentioned, the mushrooms grow literally directly on top of the big puffs.
Ah.
So, if you want to collect some mushroom, you either have to fly up above the caps where you would probably be in a low density area, or you're going to have to brave whatever this technicolored dream is. Which, by the way, just standing near it, the air goes from damp cave smell to someone threw an entire bag of mixed spices into the air.
I'll put my cloak over my nose and I'll just pluck like one or two mushrooms, put them in a bag.
They're huge.
Well, I mean, if you look around, maybe you'll find some tinny ones.
Oh, I can pluck bits and pieces, examine them later.
All right. Let's take a look-see. How about you roll me some survival to see how well you manage to make it off on this? And if you even pick the right mushrooms, because normal mushrooms still grow here too. But that's enough to avoid, to get what you need. You take a little and a little whop whop, and before too long, you have like, how much do you really want? Like, do you want like a pound of it, or do you want more?
Probably like about a handful or.
You end up with a handful of assorted mushroom gunk, and like some small ones that haven't grown completely yet. The small ones seem to all grow around the edge, but the big ones are like further away from it. It's really weird. I mean, do you want to fly over something like this? You just stir all the air and it might get worse. Ugh.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know.
probably climbing.
I don't care much for the situation of mushroom.
They might be useful. And if not, I mean, emergency food.
Do you really
Well-
want to eat that?
If it comes to like we be down here for long enough and we have no food, maybe.
Sure.
Yeah, go with that plan. That sounds like a bang-up job.
So as life goes on, so do you continue your travels, unless you want to do something else with this fine selection of mushrooms.
Nope,
A
I'm
day
not interested
passes
in them.
with little of interest happening. You pass by the Dark Lake, seeing its large, vast expanse. In the very furthest distance, you might just hear some noises. Strange noises.
Danger noises.
Tsuchinoko?
What would you hear if you were like about a day away from Las Vegas? Probably something else, I'll tell you. Sorry, just
Hello. You've lived in Vegas, you know.
I mean, you probably wouldn't hear too much, like since it's a city, you'd hear like cars and stuff, but
no distinctly Las Vegasian noises.
Uh, no, cause it it's not too loud if I remember correctly on the strip.
Yeah, I mean, I
Like
kind of figured that.
like if you're inside casino, oh, it's loud as hell.
Is I've been there for that part.
Yep. A thing that you notice is you've been on the Dark Lake before, and when you approach Grackelkluk, at some point you would hear this constant metal ringing because so many people are hammering that a lot of sounds eventually just start to resonate and mix together. That sound has either gotten too quiet for you to hear at this point, or is just gone altogether.
Huh.
I mean, to be fair, last time you were there was like a whole upheaval. Maybe it's a holiday. Who knows?
It's yeah. It's just like it's a holiday. That's
Or
good.
maybe everyone is conscripted to help bury the dead who fell down that hole. Or, fix the elevator. There's plenty of things that aren't... Oh my god. Oh, oh my god. Look at this one. Fucking YouTube annotations? Goddamn. That's old. Unregistered hypercam too.
Unless you walked away, what more?
Hyperlink block.
Anyway, your second day is otherwise not too eventful. At the third day, if it wasn't for the fact that you'd already been through a lot of the Underdark, this is probably the point where you start asking questions like, okay, are we actually going there, or are we just making awkward rounds?
Yeah, like are these the caves that shift? Are these?
Not really, but caves are what they are. Unlike the open outside space, digging around in caves has a significant larger consequence in terms of structural stability. But there is something interesting along your way today, and that is that you stumble across a large markation on the wall.
Oh.
If you had your drow friend with you, he could tell you what this is. But unless someone here speaks Underdark, particularly the Drowian dialect, or knows a little bit about drow culture, what this large, jagged symbol means is... And that's the answer.
Also, what did you call it? A marcation?
Like a mark. Let me show it to you.
Wait, was Booby the drow?
No, he's a deep gnome.
No,
Okay,
it
how?
was a drow fancy.
You
You
group.
lost him pretty early on.
Yeah, he
Okay.
got kidnapped like
Oh yeah,
right
okay.
before we got to the town that got obliterated by the Elder God. Sloopledoop.
Bloop-bloop-doop.
That place. You know the one.
Is that name will never leave my head.
Wow, it's a symbol.
Neat. I'll just bank that to memory, I guess.
So yes, you see this large symbol, and now that you're here and standing still, there is a distant chitter-chatter, and like the smell of a fire.
Oh.
For context, you are currently standing at like a Y section, which immediately merges back together. It's like you're just on a road that splits, and then there's a large column in the middle, and behind that is this very large open area, a very knobbly cave with lots of little pits, which are all filled with water. But somewhere up ahead, you hear a little chitter-chatter of like small, like it reminds you of Jim Jar, like all like little people. I think people vastly underestimate how much higher pitched you sound if you were small.
Little.
Yeah. Especially if you include proportions, which are different for small people. Unless you look at a lot of 5e's art where, holy shit, they look a little funky sometimes. Alright. The question is, do you want to do something?
I guess if I'm passing by there, at least scouting out who they are would make sense, because they could be like, I don't know, associated with one of the two groups that want us dead.
I mean, if news travels faster than you, then that's a whole other slice of cake to worry about.
Yeah, if they're that fast, I'd be a little concerned.
Delightful. Taking a little sneak peek, I think you have like the bomb The bomb-ass stealth score, yes. Yes, you do.
The bomb.
You can sneak in close enough without them noticing that you can see the small selection of deep gnomes sitting around a fire. They have some giant-ass lizards with them, and seem to be merchants, or at the very least they're moving somewhere, judging by all the boxes and crates and barrels they got with them. But, you know, they wear the clothes of people who are fancy. And also, they're counting their money.
Oh, money.
Well, I'm
Well,
gonna
I mean,
relay,
if they're just merchant people, maybe you can get some supplies off of them.
relay to the others that they seem, safe enough. Don't seem like murderous barbarians. Just some merchants.
Alright. Shall we approach?
Up to you guys. We could probably
Yeah,
fill up on supplies if we need them.
asking Ashling and Tonya and all the rest.
I guess. Let's go.
Yeah, let's. If y'all all think we need some supplies, I mean, they don't sound like too
Hands.
bad.
You make your way over to the little campsite. From the place where the marcation is, you walk into this expansive cave and follow your nose over to one of the offshoots that go every which direction. You find what is indeed a small campsite. Small tarps, colorful ones, have been hung up on poles that have been, pitched into the grounds. Due to the way that caverns work, it's kind of interesting how they actually mount things. They don't have just one big spike. They have like a little spike they mount into the ground, like a little python, and then most of their poles have rings attached to them, so that you can sort of plop them on the ground flat. It sure is an interesting way to set up a camp, although you're unsure what the tarps are for, because it doesn't really rain underground.
That Tanya kind of looks at that, thinks about like underground rain. Wonder if that's a thing.
I mean, it can get drippy, but that's usually quite stable and localized. Your cave might get the drips.
Maybe it's for bats.
Sure, maybe
Gotta
it's
watch out for guano.
it's for falling rocks and gravity. The
I,
point is, once you make your presence known, these fine 5 gentlemen get up, they dust themselves off, and they almost immediately go over to their lizards. They grab off, 3 of them go and grab off the biggest, fanciest things they could find, like an immense roll of spider silk woven into a tapestry. Another goes for this fine omelet. The final one goes for something more practical, coming to you with a big bag filled with, they look like apples. The color's off. The other 2, however, are clearly ready to grab their weapons and start shooting if anything goes awry.
Oh, okay. I was like, so wait, did they all just activate merchant NPC mode on us? Like,
You now have 3 relatively high-pitched people rapidly try and sell you and haggle you on these fine items.
well, okay, so there are others who are just like, these guys could be brigands.
Yeah, it's hard to trust people in caves.
Is there anything you would particularly like to purchase with these fine individuals, or any queries you may wish to ask?
I guess we should know if we're going in the right direction to Mushroom Land.
Good old Neverlight Grove, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
You'll get the okay on that one. As in, you get the okay in between him being like, this is a fine carpet, wouldn't you say? It would go perfect with some curtains. I happen to have some curtains. Yeah, probably the right. But the curtains,
Looks at Aisling. Maybe they have chairs.
Chairs?
I'm looking for chairs.
I've been looking for chairs. Do you have chairs?
I appreciate that you find some merchants in your first questions. Do you have some chairs? Oh man, they probably would have some chairs. Let me just see for myself. They apparently have some chairs. They have some pretty standard, this is just a Zerkwood chair that someone who was somewhat good at making chairs made. Nothing particular. Little off. You don't put that on a solid surface without some slight padding for one of the legs, but they also have a particularly fancy chair if you're looking for that. One of those proper stuffed chairs that has, cushioning and comfort.
How much is that chair?
Well, it comes with 2 particular values associated with it. One, there's the monetary value, and second is, if a drow ever sees you with this, you're going to be in deep trouble.
Well, I
Okay,
mean,
I
it'll-
don't care. I hate to drown anyway. They don't like me. They're not friendly.
Excellent. Then he'll just want like 100 gold for this, and I'll give you a chair.
I'm taking this chair.
it's just
You have now acquired
I-
a fine purple chair with a spider
I
motif.
pick it up and hold it to my side and drop it into the spooky hole.
Meow.
The stuffed leather is in fact embroidered with a beautiful spider web pattern. The backside depicts some sort of the deep gnome, or well, Jim Jar could actually tell you this, is that the back of the chair depicts one of the Drow family crests. So neat. You have a hostage chair.
Mhm.
The merchants also have some rations to sell you, which can keep you going for a while at least.
We should get some of those.
Probably a
And-
solid idea.
Marvelous.
Do they have anything like, potions or like, alchemical, things like alchemist fire or what have you?
Oof, you know what? They might have some love, but those things go fast when you're on the road. Nope. Unfortunately, you've come a little late for that. They sold their last stock to this group of weirdos a while back.
Well, that's unfortunate. Hmm.
Can't believe there's another procession of weirdos going around.
Hey, these ones aren't trying to kill us.
I wonder what kind of trinkets they have.
All kinds of
yes,
trinkets. Are you looking for fancy gems set in like metal bases?
Uh,
Are you looking for little bells that ring when you hit them?
maybe some something that will help magically if available. But if not, maybe just something, that could what would I look for?
What do you have a need for?
What do I desire?
I remember at first level getting that nice thing that I could use a spell point on a non-attack thing pretty much for free. Don't remember what that was called.
Gosh, Bella, you know what? You know what? Oh gosh. One of them does have something for you that might be able to help you with your business.
Oh,
He rummages around in a big old bag behind himself, which is filled to the brim with these sticks. They're not like sticks, but like refined sticks. Wands, people might call them.
Hell yeah, special sticks.
Ooh, woo.
Pokey sticks.
I wonder why, man, I really don't like this. One of my server icons is apparently all blurry now, and I hate it.
oh,
It was a cute bird, but now, well, dumb bird, very dumb. But hey,
Oh yeah, we can set custom icons per server now. Ain't that crazy?
we could do that for a while, actually. They just
Oh.
didn't tell anyone. Or maybe I just get early access features. I don't know. Like I'm part of the beta testing crew. The point is,
Why does he do that?
he holds up a magic stick that is adorned with these itty bitty gears in a pattern. Not like it's actually adorned with gears, because that would make it very unergodynamic. But it's a metal stick made of copper, ordained with all kinds of fancy patterns regarding clocks and gears, and tells you that with this fine stick you can cast time-related spells with greater ease.
I like that. Let me see that.
You hold on to the stick. Can you roll me some Arcana as you grasp it firmly?
Goodies.
All right, let's have a look. 21. This stick is not magical.
They're taking you.
Just
Or maybe the
look at
magic
it.
is too subtle for you to sense. Who knows?
It's like it is such a great stick.
Like,
you just don't know it yet.
The way I imagine this went is that he's like, "Oh, magic stick," and he walks close to you, and you have your hands like out, and he puts it like flat on both of your hands, and you're like, "Wow, I'm disappointed."
This is definitely a thing. I'm just gonna
Absolutely ill. Get that later.
He just asks 1,000 gold for this fine stick.
Hell yeah.
It seems a little pricey. I'm just gonna pass on that.
You just said no to a merchant who was about to make a big sale because he's like, oh, it's just 1,000 gold pieces, but I'll go down just for you.
How low will you go?
Oh, he's like going down to 900. He's not dropping the price to 0.
Oh hell yeah.
He's dropping the price to negative. He gives you 10.
I mean,
In that case, you know it's a cursed stick and you don't take it anyway.
just gonna shake it around and mutter a bit under my breath, and it's gonna have a crack. Oh, like I think I busted it.
Did you just break his stick?
You will have to pay for it.
Oh my god, Bella.
Wait, what do you mean
I
Not know how shops work.
I think it was kind of flimsy. Just
Oh my god.
is it really worth? I mean, like it. I mean, all right, I guess.
You just roped yourself into a scam.
Can you roll me deception? Just so maybe you manage to get him to feel bad about it.
I want to hero point this.
Sure.
Yeah, the party will agree. Like, for you to not rip yourself off in the
Is
end.
that
I hope.
is that alt click or just click and plus? I'll just click and plus it.
That.
Ooh.
Well,
Nope.
I'm sorry, that won't do.
It's like, well, all right.
Icelink's just watching you. Wait, why don't you just? Why didn't you like when you? Why are you looking at the stick? Can't Iceling just like touch something and go, yeah, that's magic?
Yeah, I can identify magic. I just don't know what it does.
Well, if it had any magical properties, those things tend to go away when you break them like this.
Yeah, the
I-
fairy
I-
was flying over to try and check it, and then
I-
snap.
I didn't break it.
I thought you said you broke it.
I cast Figment under my breath. If
She was trying to fake it.
Why?
just like, actually, this thing does it look like it has any potential?
You broke it.
yeah, you
Well,
broke it.
Yeah, I don't know.
You
made
broke
the
it, pal.
fake
Like, it is technically a hard-coded rule that broken magic items don't work anymore.
one. Well,
I mean,
she
is it-
faked it though.
Is it weird
Wait.
that it didn't like?
Wait, she
explode into
faked
magic?
breaking it?
Yeah.
She used figment to break it.
Yeah, I
Okay,
clicked
listen.
Figment
Just because
to
you
use-
show Figment and you keep talking about breaking it doesn't mean that I understand what the hell's going on.
Wait, what do you? Wait, I'm
The-
confused. Why are you doing this?
The deception check in this case that I made you roll was mostly to see if this guy was going to feel bad for you for having broken it, but instead you do get this tiny angry gnome who starts yelling at you for breaking his valuable property. Because you hadn't bought it yet.
And now, if you get rid of the figment, he's gonna get mad because you're trying to scam him.
This is true.
What the?
Why did you do this?
I wanted it cheaper.
It's
Oh
not
my
that
God.
cheap.
It's
Yeah.
just a stick.
You know
we
how
have 70,000 gold.
I didn't know we had 70,000. I thought we had like,
That's what you guys stole last time.
well, if we had 70,000, then
Well,
you-
40,000, but same difference.
A lot.
This man has decided to raise his price as a result of you causing emotional damage to 1,100 gold.
Fairy is confused.
And he's now very, like, impatiently tapping his foot, like, tap, 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 tap.
it's like, all right,
He's got.
just give me a second, and then I'll cast Figment again to make the crack glow, and then
I'm leaving.
Yeah, we're going.
No, the
I
fairy is
fixed it.
actually pissed off with you now.
Abigail.
What are you even doing?
Abigail.
in quotes.
You show him the stick again. The first thing that happens is he snatches out of your hand and he starts, like, flexing it a bit to make sure that you're not trying to bullshit him the other way around. Since, you know, that thing was broken a second ago.
Tanya's like, well, I don't need anything, I think, because I don't eat. I think it's time that we head out.
He still wants 100 gold for emotional damages. You made him so upset.
Right.
He's in the middle of a dangerous place, and you make him all upset with your little fun and games. You think this is fun? The other two who were trying to sell you wares are now also kind of fed up with this.
Oh my god, the entire Merchants Guild of the Underdark is gonna hear about this.
Which is to say that they stopped trying to aggressively push their wares, and they're like back to their fire, managing their little charred up food.
I'll back away. Just let everyone else just do their thing.
100 gold for the emotional damages, please.
I've
Well,
got
actually, at least you got your chair.
Chair and
Yeah,
rations.
mine.
That ought to
Due
do.
to nobody being upset with me, I'm looking around to see if they have any armor to replace mine with, because mine is just basic.
Let's take a look-see. What kind of armor do you wear, Ashling?
I can wear up to medium.
You can wear up to medium. And what's your dex score look like? I got a +1. So they're definitely going to want some of the sturdier stuff out there.
Yeah, so medium is where I've been lately.
Actually, let me look up sane magic item prices. How much is +1 armor according to them? 1,500. That's at least the base price that they go by. Neat. Neat. What kind of armor is there? There's a table for this. Thank you, table. Making this nice and clear for me. Oh wait, there's no need for that table. We're using the different rules. Wink.
We're gonna run into Spamton next, and Belle's gonna get eaten.
That's a little too much for me, Claire. Taking a look around this big ol' heap of stuff, and I would like to remind you that the armor rules are different. This one includes your proficiency. Let me just take a screenshot of that. You find a breastplate, and since you're able to touch things and feel if they're magical, you can sense that this breastplate's got something going on. Might be good, might be bad. How identifying is this identification thing?
Generally, unless I spend time to use like Arcana, I can just tell if something is magic.
Sure is magic.
Yeah, I can sense magic.
Sure is magic. This, as in, this
Arcana.
breastplate has that magical gleam to it.
And then I get to try to identify it because I do have expertise in Arcana.
Excellent.
Good with magic.
Delightful.
Yeah, you being a creature of magic.
Sparkles.
Yeah, sparkles. Like,
I am made of sparkles.
Yeah, Claire. So I start beating you up. Bam.
actually, maybe I should actually invest in some kind of armor plating. I'm an idiot. I just feel so self-sufficient sometimes. Yeah, go ahead.
This is a +1 breastplate of poison resistance. However, it's unclear how much they know about that.
So she's gonna look at them, look at the armor. How much you want?
Ooh. Well, it's bigger than them. And, you know, not everyone fully understands how magic armor resizes because you have to squeeze into it first and then it starts expanding. Ugh, or shrinking. So I look like a goof halfway through. He gives it a look over and takes a look at you. Because, you know, he's
just the most pure eyes.
You know, he's trying to figure out if he...
He rolls like resist baby.
No, he's trying to like roll insight, trying to discern like how much do you know, which is against your passive deception, by the way, which is 12.
Holy crap! I succeeded.
Well, he's still a merchant, and he still has that merchant's hunch. So he kind of waves his hands around and goes, "Oh well, you know." What you hold there is a fine breastplate. Doesn't rust, it's very good if things don't rust down here in this dark and dank place. And he tries to pinch it off on you for 2,000 gold.
She zips over to Tanya. Is 2,000 gold a good deal for this? I don't know money.
I mean, for
Tanya.
a breastplate, it's a lot.
Wait, it's a lot for a breastplate, or is it not a lot?
Yeah, because how much would Tanya know about this?
Like Tanya looks at her own body, looks at the fairy, looks at the armor. How much would I know?
I mean, you're like a marshal. You understand like how much armor would be worth, and naturally you would have an understanding how much magic armor is worth because it's just the higher echelons of fighting
Well,
men.
I don't know it's magic, so
Yeah.
just by looking
So
at it.
if
2000
you're
gold.
like, it's a pretty traditional like it's just a breastplate, very pragmatic, not a lot of detailing to it. So yeah, 2,000 is like several orders of magnitude more than it really should be.
Pretty expensive.
Like a normal breastplate is like 400 gold.
Yeah, Tanya realizes to the fairy that it's quite an outrageous price to be honest, but we are also not really filled with many options.
I'm gonna zip over. 1,000.
Just go right at him.
You're asking for half off. He seems. You can tell almost
Exactly,
instantly
you
that he's.
always ask half.
You can tell he's almost instantly insulted by this. Like, oh.
I've got kids to feed. I need to pay the rent.
He
Oh, you're
flinches
killing me here.
and waves his hands. It's like you're pretty much that, yes. It's like how could you do a man so such a disservice ask so little for something so valuable? Just look at it. Doesn't rust. Looks perfect. Never gets dirty. Gives a little clunk clonk on the chest.
But that 2,000's a lot, I think.
Oh, but what would you get to? Listen, you can go around there. You can probably find. Could you find plate? I mean, who makes metal around here but a duergar? They don't make it for your size. So you have to pay a lot to get it resized. Not to mention, there's not magical. This is. What do you think you're going to
See his
find?
little finger. About the resizing part. We don't have to do that part.
Are you going to tell him how magic armor works?
I mean, I can use that as a way to cut off some of the price.
No, he's actually going to raise it to 250, 2,500, because he's like, oh, it's magical resizing armor too, so all your friends can wear it.
They're not going to wear it.
It doesn't matter. He's like, it's another feature. Features at cost.
That's not how haggling works. You don't haggle much, do you? Haggling's supposed to be fun.
Tanya kind of slides in here. We're all travelers, friend. Maybe you could cut us a deal here, and we can just be on our way and out of your hair. I'm gonna get the little showman thing going on. I'm big nice robot lady.
Wait, what?
I'm trying to persuade him to kind of cut us a deal here, because I mean, how many customers are you gonna really run into in these caves?
Gosh.
Also, I'm just gonna ask Kenny for 1,500 gold.
Go into the goblin
Caddy,
bank.
please. The money bag you're dragging around, let me take some of it. All right, Tanya. You're not very good at persuasion, are you? Well, I mean, you got +2. That's more than nothing. Give me that persuasion as you give this man a slick argument to loosen the deal.
It's actually +5, but Ashley doesn't
Oh.
know anything about money.
It's not a bad roll. I give him the business.
Delightful. You give him the business. What you end up with is that he goes back to the original price of 2,000. But
What?
But
he does start to get a little frustrated with your particular group.
yeah, our group hasn't been making things easy on him.
Like he
That's
still hasn't gotten the
okay.
money, the emotional damages. Not to mention he did it in the first place. Swoon.
We got a lot of money, so I mean, just
We also were carrying around 1,200 before, so
yeah.
Well, I don't know how much we have at any time.
it's in the loot bag. I never took it out.
I give the fairy a thumbs up because it's like that's the best we're gonna get probably.
No, I don't think we added the stuff from last session into the loot
We
bag. I'll
didn't.
do that
We
now.
had just the number, but I'm just saying how much we had before. Plus, there's also your gold bracelets and things lying around.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Delightful.
let's just pay for it.
Yeah,
Cha-ching.
if Kenny would allow it, I'd ask for 1,500 just to pay for the wand and forgiveness.
Why are you paying for the wand?
Yeah.
The fuck is a chaos breastplate? Oh my goodness.
What's that do?
What-
It has a table, a d20 table. While wearing it, any critical hit against you awakens the armor. Roll d20 for a random effect. So if someone hits you with a crit, something funky happens. Roll this table at the start of each of your turns. Okay, cool. You have vulnerability to all damage, including the triggering attack, until the start of your next turn. You have resistance to magical damage. Ooh. For the
Hey,
next
it seems
minute.
very fitting, actually.
Oh god, this table is hilarious. It's awful. I mean,
Yeah,
it can
I
cast
should
mirror
do
image
that.
or fly, but it also causes some funky things to happen, like -3 to your armor class. All right. Well, you make the transaction in that case, and they like peel back away, and anyone who can speak Undercommon can clearly understand that they're like muttering to themselves, like surfacers.
Yeah. Understandable reaction to that whole mess.
Well,
Uh,
time to hit the road again.
as we leave, Tanya looks at Abigail. You're not a merchant. I understand this now. And then he just keeps walking.
Careful.
You don't know why she said that, but she did.
Careful, she might just steal your cool tricks.
She tried.
All right.
Now, can you get drop the armor into my sheet?
All right, give me a moment. Give me a moment. How am I gonna do this actually? Poison? Oh gosh, that's probably not in there. I know how to do this. First, we're just gonna put your armor class up to 17. And second, I'm gonna give you a damage resistance. Poison. Baboom. Same
Yeah.
result. Time for the road, baby. Step, 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 step. First off, one more thing. I should probably put a breastplate in your pocket and give it the right name.
Slips it right in there.
That-
question. Did I get a chance to buy the wand or not?
I mean, if you really wanted
Why
to,
are
yes.
you buying it?
Huh?
Why are you buying it?
Because I felt weird about the interaction. Abigail.
You spent the entire interaction trying to scam this guy.
Yeah,
I also
Abigail.
feel weird now.
Abigail and I both felt weird after the interaction.
But you started it.
Exactly.
Okay, Bella, it's a wooden stick. It's not. Don't just let it. Just leave it. Save some money and dignity, please.
Abigail would probably buy it after that situation.
Cool.
Why would she try to scam a guy and then go and feel bad for trying to scam a guy who's trying to scam her?
Because she's not good at scamming.
It's cute. You now own a copper gear stick.
Yeah.
Oh my
Nice.
God.
Do tell me if you intend to use it on anything.
Oh no! I knew
But-
it.
Like, have you ever had those interactions where you just like awkwardly go through the things and then you reverse your stance and just like, okay, I'll get it.
But not when I'm trying to scam a guy.
I know it's fake, but I still want it.
Kicks my feeties.
Little baby feeties. Back on the road then. There we go. Whee! As you make your way downtown. Something. Oh my goodness, why won't these tokens delete? There we go, they're gone. There used to be tokens here, but they're gone now. Spooky.
Oh no, the tokens, they're gone.
We never added the sword I got. Oh god, what was that sword?
It was like the alignment sword thing.
Alignment
I
sword.
think.
Oh gosh.
That's what you were talking about at the end of the session, at least.
Wiggle.
Maybe you were just looking at swords.
I think I was looking at swords, yes.
Eh,
However, if I promised you a sword, be sure to whack me on the head about it. It will not stand that little gobbo goes without blade.
I didn't want to derail things.
But it's important
Where?
that we have sword business sorted out.
Sword. Get it? It's like joke.
I'm very intelligent.
Very, very big brain.
Point is, down the road you go. The local Darklands sure are something. You find a place where there's like this immense skeleton that makes up the majority of the room. Yet, despite it clearly being an old skeleton, it smells like a fresh corpse as you go underneath it.
Gross.
Very,
Kind of gross.
very gross.
Old
Unfortunately.
Stinky ones.
Big Stinky. Love saying that. As you make your way across and through, the ground has rumbled all day, but now the rumbling seems to get closer. Over the course of your journey, you have heard from like Jim Jar and Topsy and Turvy the fact that there are these massive worms that dig tunnels sometimes, and like any wound, they heal over time. But and you get the clear impression that like, oh shit, there might be one coming our way at this rate.
Oh no.
As the ground rumbles ever louder,
Eh.
the ceiling starts to cave in and collapse.
Ah,
The whole party briefly scatters, and
Run.
dust surrounds you.
We get the F word out.
Brood. Can everyone roll me a DC 13 dex save?
Save.
Probably won't go well for me. And now my dexterity. Okay.
Come on.
The
Wow.
one person with a super high dex save.
Got
Well-
the highest dex score of any of us.
You take this or half. In
What was it?
bludgeoning
What-
damage as you are blunted by the local debris.
Ow.
It was DC 12? Or
13.
yeah, DC 12.
Oh,
Oh,
13.
13.
okay, then,
Yep.
yeah, I'll just take 3.
As the dust slowly begins to clear, it becomes apparent.
Guys,
It becomes a.
Savvy,
Hello?
Can you hold on for one moment? I need to go check something.
Oh no.
Oh
Be
dear.
right back.
Oh
So-
no.
So
Intermission.
how many smoke breaks did Brady have that one time, Claire? Do you remember?
He's drinking today, Safi.
Oh no. The
And-
guy has no liver left.
No, yeah, well, yeah. So basically, every drink he's taking is actually killing him, literally. So,
For some
since he basically has no liver left, every single drink is also hitting him way harder, so he gets drunk way faster too.
don't know why, but I have a really big difficulty remembering the word cirrhosis.
Cirrhosis. The hell does cirrhosis mean?
That's the liver scarring that's killing him.
Cirrhosis.
Oh, it's cirrhosis.
Yeah, so I'm guessing Zal was checking to see if he's because he was acting like a little, that way a bit ago. So Zal might be checking if he's actually just straight up, slamming. Because actually, if he gets piss face drunk, he could just straight up drop dead at this point. I think. Dude's a moron, man. I mean, addiction sucks. Don't get me wrong. I've been down that hell twice, but there does get to be a point.
Oh yeah, Brady's wasted up there.
That sucks. I'm
He's
sorry.
on call with someone he apparently tried to date at one point, yelling about how, well, you chose to be with this guy. Think what you could have if you were with me.
I'm not saying anything about that. Oh man.
Soinky wonkies.
Yeah, zoinky wonkies. I'm with Safi here. Safi got hurt. The rocks bludgeoned me.
I was gonna get
Rocks
my blood
tumbles
damage.
all around you, yes.
Some damage.
When you come
Maybe
back
when
to your
there's
senses, which is to say that the dust has cleared a bit, and the rumbling seems to be decreasing in intensity, You find yourself in a mostly cordoned off section of tunnel. Your allies are nowhere in sight.
Oh no!
Well,
Welp, indeed.
I went through all that work saving them.
The air at first feels a bit, or smells a bit dusty. But another smell that particularly grabs your nostrils is the slowly growing smell of acid. As well as the fact that there's now a small layer of water at your feet.
Oh,
So your feet
well, I
are
hope
probably,
this water isn't acidic.
if you give it a taste, it's just water.
I mean, if it was acidic, I can fix that.
I'm not drinking feet water.
Hey,
I,
hey, there are lots of king communities that consider that artisanal.
Also, thank God my feet aren't wet. Ashleen says, floating 2 feet above the ground.
actually,
Tanya actually takes
Yeah.
Oh.
quick question. Can you teleport through those rocks or no?
Can I see through them?
No, it's an opaque wall of
No.
rock.
I don't have the ability to teleport without seeing yet.
Soon, though, soon.
That is something I can get, but I don't have it yet.
I was gonna comment. Tanya suddenly decide, remarking that Tanya takes a look at the fairy, wondering, and also curious. Wait, does she even wear shoes?
Yes,
Okay,
they're soft little shoes. She has to walk once in a while.
she hates that though, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah, but they're cute shoes.
Yeah,
They
cute little
are.
shoes.
That's what's important. Anyway.
You're in a cave.
Can we?
With water at
yeah,
your feet.
Can we hear our companions anywhere, or like call out to them?
You can hear them through like the rock to your west, yes.
You guys
But I
okay?
like my shoes.
So on the other side, you hear Jim Jark going like, "All right, who wants to bet me 5 gold that they're all okay?"
I'll take that bet.
Can I? I mean, I guess we can't move the rocks around. Is it too unstable?
I mean, if you
I'll
want
do
to start
that.
moving a rock slide around that has just settled, that's entirely up to you.
Yeah, that's a good
Bad
point.
idea, Claire.
Yeah, it's probably just gonna make things worse.
If
I guess
only
I-
you had proficiency with engineer's tools.
Wait, look second. No, never mind.
Let me check my list. Nope.
Let me check if I have that knowledge suddenly. Yo, never mind.
We'll look for a way around. Maybe we can find some way to catch back up. Try not to die.
They'll
If-
leave some markings for you.
Yeah, and if we don't meet up, we're going to the Neverlight Grove anyway, so you should probably make your way there.
Sure. Wink.
See you on the other side.
The fairy had already flown off and was looking around.
Marvelous.
Stay
You
on
find that
your
a
feet
section
and
of the
settle in.
wall has collapsed in on itself, which is where the water and the acidic smell are coming from.
Oh,
Acid
Ow.
smell usually means. She looks around. Acid.
Who'd have thunk?
Wait, shit, real?
Things smell of themselves.
Hey, I mean, you ever wonder why people say everything smells like rotten eggs? How many rotten eggs have you smelled?
More than I'd like.
That's sad. I'm sad. I gotta fly in this area.
that's sad. I'm sad. I'm going this way. You're a wondrous animal. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I want to keep a close eye on all of them because I can't lose any of y'all else.
There's
Let's
an
keep going.
There's an intersection. Which way should we go?
Well, our companions are behind us, so I guess left. See if we can find
Moving up through these
Wait.
tunnels, you notice that they're oddly smooth. Kind of like the Whirlstone Caves were. Additionally, because you have a light source and you're able to tell this, the water occasionally has these waves in it. It's like still settling in, it seems.
Odd.
No, it's water.
Eventually, I'll be able to talk to that.
I like the fairy. You sense anything?
You can't sense magic from like that far away. It's like not touching it.
What is a girl?
Well, you're standing at a T section. Where do you go?
Tanya points to that direction just because that's where their companions are. It feels a little weird leaving them behind.
Yeah,
Gazing down,
like-
it's a place where the walls go from just rock to, well, brick. Worked brick.
Wait,
Huh.
what? All right, that's a little weird.
What, brick?
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
when you're in a cave, yeah, you don't expect to see brick.
Go, Tanya, go.
Why doesn't it let me go?
So what order should we tackle these hallways?
Well, I'll go first because I'm big. Huh.
You stand inside of a room, and as you give it a look, you notice that all the individual bricks look like they've been eroded for ages. It is here that you become rapidly aware of the fact that not only does the rock look like it's dripping downwards slightly, it is in fact dripping downwards slightly from
Oh.
above.
Oh.
Abigail, you are the first
Yep.
to see like a thick strand of gray hanging in front of you. At which point your danger senses begin tinkling.
Oh no. I'm just gonna look up at it and not sure what to do.
You see a large gray booger hand from the ceiling.
Caster, you bought a stick. Use that.
Alright, I'll
Stick, I have
cast.
no reason to think has magic.
Oh god.
I'll just friggin' use one spell point to eject it.
Wait, what?
I'm gonna eject it for a round.
All right.
Time.
All right.
Just like, no.
Oh God.
All
It
right,
doesn't
so
come back.
No thoughts, head empty.
And then
Marvelous.
I'd say run, and I just move on.
Well, since you all have like a whole round to run around, we'll say that that's kind of over. It's a giant. It's a giant dumbass slime.
And actually,
Road?
when we leave, what I'm gonna do, just to make sure it has something to remember us by, even though it's dumb,
Tanya,
is I'm gonna cast Cold Snap.
yeah.
cool. What does it do?
But didn't it post what it does?
That's weird.
Nope.
Do any of my spells? Because Cold Snap just is the one that doesn't.
Weird.
Cold Snap is a 10-foot cube of cold that if a creature starts or ends the turn within it, they take 1d6 cold damage. But because we're over 5th level, it takes 2d6, and it's a 15-foot cube. So it's taking the damage for each part of the cube it's in.
Well, no, not really. That's not how that
It's gonna
works.
be stuck in there with that for a bit.
I mean, it's already like out of the universe for like a moment, but we got a bigger
Okay.
problem to worry about.
Yeah.
Tanya, as you rush forward, you
Right,
suddenly
back up.
become stuck and suspended in midair.
They're back.
Yes, something got Bella at midnight.
I forgot there's another goo in here.
Well, I mean, Bella took care of that one pretty effectively.
See,
Wait, this thing
Tanya's
is coming. Nope.
yeah, Tanya's just confused. She's like, she's pretty sure she saw like a giant gray goo coming down, and then suddenly it was just gone, and now she's apparently like.
And then you hear it land behind us a few seconds later.
You're inside
Oh,
of
this has
a.
been on for 6 seconds, Claire.
You end up getting stuck inside of a big old jiggly cube.
Oh my effing god, it's Latinus cube. Are you effing kidding me?
Well, on the plus side, since you don't have to breathe, this isn't nearly as uncomfortable as it is for most people, who eventually start unwillingly inhaling acid, which is great.
The acid still isn't gonna do much for me, you know.
Now that's not the right attitude, Claire. Come on.
Wait, so Claire wouldn't be entirely encased in it yet, right?
I'm back.
I mean, I assume you guys ran out of there with some post haste.
I was gonna know if Claire would be like suddenly all the way in, or if I could make contact with her.
You could probably make contact with her.
I'm a teleporter out of it.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle goes the cube.
By the way, for Abigail's sake, since Mel just came back, I ran into a gelatinous cube. This whole place sucks.
Apparently.
This is the goo zone. Quick, eject
Yeah,
it.
I'm gonna grab Claire by the back and teleport her out of the cube.
Wang? Do I just like go
You're
where you are?
You're next to me.
Oh god, this is the other goo room.
I mean, I could Canny because I can fly above Canny, but
Well, since apparently this all is a bunch of tomfoolery, we're gonna have to pull this one back up again.
well, we can't go any further.
I'm stuck in a goo in a hard place.
We're doing a goo place.
Go.
Quick, Bella, multi-cast prong spell eject from reality.
Tanya, as you
Yeah.
are teleported into the room, you also become aware of the fact that the goo is decided to return.
And
Go too.
I get teleported away from the cube and into the other thing.
This one at least isn't acid.
Oh, it is.
Yes. Yeah, it's acid. It's a goo. They're all acid.
Well, Tanya, what are you gonna do about it?
I can't grapple this thing. Like,
My
Technically-
initiative rolls have been awful today.
Technically, you can because it's not immune to the grapples condition.
awesome. Okay, we're
Throw it
you know
back.
we're doing this. All right. I roll. Hell yeah! And I does a hit?
I mean, this thing is an armor class of 8, so yes,
All right.
yes, smack it.
I just give it a big smack. Oh wow, it takes like half the bludgeoning. Oh no, wait, that was never mind.
No, it doesn't.
And then I grapple it.
You firmly somehow wrestle a large pile of semi-cohesive goo.
It's very harmonious.
Looks at my chokehold slam.
So, I don't know how this works for you particularly, but it's starting to rust and eat at you.
Okay, well it says can eat through 2-inch thick non-magical metal. I am magic.
It still doesn't feel good.
Doesn't it misses by the way.
Kenny.
Oh, by the way, I use a steel steel exemplar. Give
Look,
her a
everyone,
bonus.
I got this goo.
This is
You got
less
the
than
bonus,
good.
everyone.
Duh.
Don't worry, unlike previous editions, they're not immune to sneaky.
Yeah, but they
Oh, shit.
are.
Oh wait, I didn't get to attack twice, Happy.
They do have downsides if you start slashing them, and they don't care about piercing. So, at least I think that's how it worked. I'm always concerned whether I get the order wrong.
Well, it's black pudding you don't want to slash, because then they split into multiple.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
I think also the ochre jelly has something like that, but it's like lightning.
Yeah, I think some
Lightning and slashing,
some,
huh?
of them- some do, some don't. It's weird.
Yeah, it's lightning and slashing for black and ochre, huh? The black one is specifically called putty.
Pretty.
Cool.
Hooray.
Boing.
Yeah, I'm gonna help Tanya try and not die to this thing. With Great.
Zoinky Winkies. Its armor class is 8.
Yeah, and I got 2 6s. 2 2s.
Claire, you are oozled and ooze. Blub, 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 blub.
Yeah, I was gonna chokehold it, but I don't think that does anything.
No. Probably wouldn't. You don't even know where
okay,
its neck
roll-
is, so good luck.
Whatever that athletics check does, that don't do nothing to me, I think.
Nope. That was an attempt to grapple thee,
I'm grappling it, so...
and has failed successfully.
Yeah, see, I'm holding it. It's not gonna hold me.
Ashling, what do you think is a useful course of action?
So, would I know if these things have any form of like elemental weakness?
Maybe. How familiar are you with them? With subterran ooze?
That's an excellent question that I don't have a mental answer for. So probably not terribly.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I mean,
let's
typically, I think they don't like cold damage because it freezes them and then makes it hard for them to move. And then,
Oh, that's fine. I can try that.
and then it depends on like the type for other things. Like most don't really care about fire because they're wet and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Like,
Well, I'm gonna go for the one on Tanya. Because I figure one of our spellcasters should go for that one. The other one should go for the other. I'm going to get it with my spell book. There it is. Destructive Blast.
Pew.
Drowning.
Which one?
Drowning. Show
which
me
is cold
drowning.
damage. It does cold damage, and it gives disadvantage against any of my water abilities for the next turn.
You also have advantage on your roll,
Funky.
And then I'm going to try to slash it with my sword, which has advantage.
Excellent. Luckily,
And actually has super advantage.
nice.
So I get 15.
He just messed this thing up. Actually, I just thought about it. If he froze this thing,
That's what I'm aiming for.
can I like pick it up and throw it?
You could shatter it. And that's all I got.
Marvelous.
You don't get 2 attacks?
No, I get 1 additional attack if I use spell combat.
And that's if you expend your focus.
Right?
Or is it free now?
I'm
It's
gonna
still my focus for now.
Yeah, it's free for me.
I'm gonna
No,
spend
I get 2 attacks, Clara, but I can use my focus point to do a spell and an attack.
Oh, okay. So go ahead. There we go.
Okay, Abigail, you're standing next to a big old goopy boy, and inside of this large ooze are a set of disconnected eyeballs, as it were.
first I use my bonus action to scout the cube
You scout
To
the
find-
cube. Here's
to
what it
find
looks
out
like.
its resistance, immunities.
Let's see. It's immune to being blinded, charmed, deafened, exhausted, frightened, and prone. I'll just give you that one out of the box because it's a goop.
But then I gotta roll my
Don't have a
intelligence,
brain.
I believe. What was it? Yeah, intelligence, investigation, or perception. Let's go with investigation.
It doesn't particularly care about any type of damage. It just is. Additionally, it seems to talk to you.
What?
Oh.
As in, you hear in your head, in sync with how its eyes are moving. Like a hello.
Hello.
Wait, it has eyes.
Yeah.
It can talk.
Well,
What?
just gonna friggin' cast my Friggin' what was it? My blade shape, blast shape blade.
Try talking to it.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna do that as a free action, but I'm just gonna give everyone the ability to well, not everyone. Canny, Tanya, and I are gonna have our weapons have force damage. But then I'm just gonna be like, hello?
It wiggles in excitement.
What the it can Gladys Gibbs don't talk?
Friend.
This one at least seems to be friendly because he's not trying to eat you.
Yeah, I'm just precautionarily doing the whole giving everyone force damage.
Well, it just wiggles back and goes, hello.
Okay.
And that's my action because I can't do a second attack unless I do an
Tanya,
attack.
you're wrestling this large pile of goop.
I sure am doing that by the legal definition of grappling. So 1 second, I'm trying to. Okay, I can't prone this by. All right, so I'm gonna attack it while I have it, held. So I was reading really quick. No. Roll. Pretty nice. And I do the extra damage, so it's 12 damage.
Ooh, ow.
Then
Don't forget your extra attack.
I wonder if it's like there's a point of even slamming it. Yeah, no, there's no point in slamming this because I can't slam it. Okay, I'm gonna just attack
You'll
it.
slam it on yourself.
Yeah, like I just
Bam, boom.
keep a hold of it. Yeah, just
You squeeze the slime, causing a variety of its microcellular organisms to squirt all over, taking out that mitochondria, of which it has many.
this
That's
is
its
one
powerhouse.
Is it trying to talk to me too, or is it just like
This slime does not seem as talkative as the other one, no.
The only thing it has to say is pain.
Ouch.
I'm gonna
Kenny.
continue trying to smack this thing as Tanya's wrestling it.
You do force
There we go,
damage
that's
now.
better.
Oops.
And
Oh yeah,
since
did I do extra damage because I had force damage?
No.
I also have turbo advantage, so just in case it's a crit. Nope.
Force is far more the I don't want to deal with resistances than it is
Oh.
ever going to be extra. Whoopsh. The ooze jiggles.
It's like yeah.
It seems to briefly inflate and then deflates, trying to squeeze all of its acid onto you, lady grabbing on firmly.
Well, it's not. Nah, it's not able to do it, unfortunately.
Okay, I need to figure out why it has two. Let's see.
That would have been terror bad.
Ah, that's why. Point is, it goes squeesh, and the ground smooths out a little more. Aisling.
Yeah, I'm gonna freeze it. I'm gonna cast freeze.
Fawweeze. Do not say it like cheweeze. That's fog, thank you.
For some reason, we clicked that one instead.
Let's take a look-see. Oh no, it has no dex.
It also has disadvantage, so it could actually even roll 0.
Terrifying.
No.
What happens to it? It
So,
takes 1d4 cold
it doesn't-
damage.
It takes 1d4 cold 1d4 cold damage, and it is restrained for the next round.
Oh my. Advantage for all. Abigail. You're next to a large goo that is just saying hello.
Can
Friend.
I get like an understanding if this thing is intelligent?
Well, it was able to talk to you in your head, which is more intelligent than most people.
It's like I'll just be like, Fred, and I'll just it's talking to me, so don't know whether to attack it or not, so I'm just gonna hold back on attacking. But I'll hold my action to if it attacks me.
Oh, thank God, Abigail, an incarnation of your anxiety.
So you're not doing anything of note. Okay, gotcha.
Well,
Wow.
I'm trying to talk to her. I'm just be like, hey, like, are you trying to talk to us? Friendly?
Its
Friends?
little eyeballs appear to go up and down, and it goes, "Yoho."
God, you found me.
I'll just be like, might be friendly. I look back to Ashley and shrug.
We were a little busy.
We're dealing with the like hillbilly
wait.
cousin.
I forgot something.
Hmm.
Okay, no wild magic.
Unfortunately, since it's talking, I'm not taking my turns.
Yeah. Tanya, the air around you is nice and chilly as a result of all this cold, and there's a goo on top of you trying to squeeze you into a molten state.
Well, and it is failing in every regard. Anyway, so I'm gonna. First, I'm gonna give it a punch. It was a still
You have
hits.
advantage on it.
Oh yeah, yeah. It had worse damage. Well, anyway, I give it a punch, and then since it's cold and like I guess a little more solid, I'm going to try to just body slam this thing.
Oh my god. Well, it got hit with both because, you know, the large ooze starts to look a little pale and diluted. Kenny.
I'm gonna continue to do my things.
I get rid of this.
That's what I meant to do. Is what I was saying.
Good damage.
Sting, stab.
Ding stab.
The large ooze is little. It has lost so much of its hit points that it's amorphous. Ooh. If you let it go, Tanya, it looks like it's starting to slither in a different direction than you are located in.
I ain't letting it take maybe run into our other party.
All right, you hold on tight. In which case, it will try to fight you for it.
Yeah, I mean, make my day, you big gray idiot. Oh,
Splat.
Also, it's still restrained until the end of its turn.
Oh, in that case, I don't. Can it make an attack, or was it just disadvantage in that point? Let me just remind
oh
myself.
yeah, it has restrained.
Dis
Also,
against
piled
creatures,
that.
creatures attack rolls have disadvantage. Okay, let me just do that for you.
Oh my god, it rolled a 1.
You would have only taken the first damage, by the way. The second damage for if it has enlarged itself.
Saved your ass, Tanya. Also, now it has to make a strength check.
God, the net 20 and the net 1. Frightening.
So to try and escape, though it's not going to, it needs to make an yeah. Okay, it got out.
What?
It is no longer frozen.
Man, was that back-to-back 20s on the non-advanced rolls? I mean, it doesn't matter. I wasn't really doing much with the grapples anyway, so yeah, go ahead. But I
Okay,
ain't
so
let
I'm going to spend a spell point to buff my destruction.
Sounds really messed up.
And that makes this do 3d8 damage. Which type do I want to use? So I'm just gonna roll my attack roll on it. Destructive blast augmented. Wow. That was kind of a waste.
Pew.
And that was drowning again.
Ow. That's just like, oh.
Alrighty, tidy then. Abigail, you're in the back.
Alright. I'm gonna try to convince the ooze to, like, maybe clear it away, and then I'm just gonna go in and strike the gray ooze.
It's a battle of good versus evil, guys.
So, yeah, hit it with a short, short sword. I wouldn't have pulled out Boopido's blade.
Yeah, I don't expect you to pull that thing out very often.
Gosh.
What you don't want to? What it could save everyone. You the Boopa blade.
Tanya, you're almost done rustling this thing into non-existence.
Yeah, let's escape my grasp, but I'm gonna let's take a swing at it again.
Actually, wait, I would have had a second swing too.
Oh no, give me the goods, Abigail. By the way, is the short sword magical?
It has force damage.
I guess it would be protected from that. Okay, gotcha. Tanya, can you deliver the final blow? It has 1 hit point left. How did it do that? Yes, squeeze it like a zit.
Where's Kenny?
Tanya turns to face off against the to her surprise, the still living gelatinous cube.
Wait. It might be friendly.
I will grapple this one. Why does it have eyes?
So,
I
have to assume there's a reason why you haven't stabbed that one.
It said hello, and it didn't attack me. I turned to the ooze. Friend? Can we pass, friend?
It thinks for a moment, or at the very least, it doesn't immediately respond to your query. Now that you have some time, you can actually tell that inside of it appears to be some money and half-dissolving drow, which is
Hey,
quite the
Drow
sight.
effects.
Additionally, you notice that its eyes are connected by a single. I mean, like it has nerves going every which way, but there's like a single long nerve that connects the two of them, and it does kind of like go. It doesn't seem to know.
So it's not doing the thing where it talks to me. I point behind it. Move that way. We pass.
Okay. It
I was-
slides backwards, jiggling the whole way.
I mean, I was just gonna teleport us past it, so sure.
I was honestly waiting for it to like. Abigail says it didn't attack me, and then suddenly grabs her like the Hulk grabs Loki and just starts smashing.
Puny cat.
It fits perfectly in this 10-foot high structure. Abigail, as you move forward, you come to the realization that the water gets deeper the further you go.
Oh.
It now seems to easily reach up to your ankles.
Okay, Tanya is looking awkwardly back at the gelatinous cube, thinks about this line. So, there's a lot of goose here. We might want to really watch out for those.
I'm gonna put a little bit of the mushrooms that I grabbed from earlier and just put them down on the ground. I'll be like, maybe it won't be bad.
It crawls over it and then detonates violently.
Pat.
I would pet the cube, but they're acidic.
Hey, maybe you could like touch the surface lightly. Well, that'll not get you.
I mean, to be fair, I ran into it. Then again, gelatinous cube, it's kind of how people.
I also teleport you out of it really quickly.
Well, that's actually how gelatinous cubes usually get you. They stand like basically nearly invisible, and you just kind of run into them.
Boink.
Or they just
So,
go from
Tanya,
like.
you gonna come join the party, or are you staying
I'm
back
right-
under that cube?
Tanya's in front.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Oh,
I'm
Kenny.
like in front of all you all.
You're now in the darkness because light works like that.
Yeah, like
Um,
we need a light source.
Yeah, Kenny's the one with the light.
I don't have a light.
Moving through this place, you become increasingly aware of the fact that not only is the water level getting higher the further you go, but also in a lot of places there's this thin film floating on top of it. And in places there are these thick, crusted, gel-like things in the corners that got stuck or between the bricks.
This is like a goopy breeding ground. The
The walls also seem to sweat in some places. Ooh.
F this place, man.
Hey, Tanya, before I come into the room, can you look up for me?
Yeah,
Tanya looks up.
keeping one eye on the ceiling.
Does Tanya see anything with her Tanya eyes at the ceiling?
Beholder, blah.
It's a slime beholder shape, like just it adapted. Hello.
Yes.
I was saying, did I see
Tanya's
anything on the
looking up.
ceiling?
The ceiling sure looks like it's sweating. But not in the way that the other one did, where there were these obvious thick strands of gray.
Okay, this is like this place is looking a little icky. Does it look like it gets worse as we go on? Blub blub blub.
So how's that floor treating you guys?
It's wet.
Not ideal. Squelching is unpleasant.
I keep my eye on the slime. Still following.
Wait, is it following us? Tanya actually looks like, is it following us?
It
Seems
is.
like it.
In
Right,
fact,
they
it
have a-
seems to follow behind you like a short distance. It's like squeezing into these tighter passages and then popping out.
Yeah. So
Friend,
I'm gonna go talk to him. Hi, buddy. What's up?
and the fairy's just gone. Like,
They don't have pseudopods. It's just a cube.
yeah, it just runs into you.
Its
Yeah, I
eyes
saw
look directly at you, like they float down to your level and everything. And it's like, hello.
that. Whoa.
Hello. What are you doing here?
Its eyes spin around the place a bit. I don't know. I woke up here.
'Cause usually
What
This
about you?
place is kind of weird.
Why are you here?
We're going to a new place.
Ooh. Can I go a new place? This place is a little boring.
You know, you're right. It is boring. We can find
We're
you a new
keeping him.
place.
you can't keep that thing.
You're not listening. You're way ahead.
Yeah, I'm way ahead.
You
sorry.
can't just keep a news.
That's just me as a player saying that.
I'm sure we can find you a new place, friend.
I mean,
Wiggles.
sh- we have no shortage of excitement when we
I
go
gotta find
anywhere.
Tanya. I think he's just wanting to go somewhere new.
Squeeze.
Tanya looks at the fairy with like all the patience of a metal-faced parent, and just remarks the obvious thing that you do understand. Like she actually looks at you very seriously, Abigail. Abigail, you understand what it is, yes?
You're on the corner, Tanya.
Hey, like the water is getting up a little higher than it should. You start to hear the sound of rushing water too.
I don't like the sounds of that.
And then Bella never comes around the corner.
Right.
Are we about to enter like a really stupid?
I mean, it's
game over
basically a morphing Tetris piece, really.
Yeah, like we go in here, we see like 8 different goo cubes going.
You see 4 different entranceways going west, and the rushing water comes from the east.
Well, we don't want to go towards the water because there's a lot of water. Actually, thinks about that for a second. Actually, can you do something about this Russian water?
If we find the source.
I don't know. Where would it be? The sound of what noise came from?
Probably.
Tanya just like remarks obvious. I'm not sure where any of this leads. Oh my god! It's like the world's most dangerous puppy.
Gives that Patsy.
So yeah, I'm gonna go check out the source of the water wherever that is.
East.
Yeah, that was that way.
All right, I'll go with Abigail to the east.
Going east, you find one major feature: a large body of water, glistening, and also covered in the slimy films in places. The most defining feature of this room, however, is the fact that the water comes from multiple places. It seems to drip out of the walls, and there's a large section of the ceiling that is completely overtaken by a constant waterfall stream of the stuff. At least you won't go thirsty.
I can't
Don't know if
purify it. So when you guys get in, you see the fairy floating in the air with her arms folded, thinking about whether or not she can actually slow this down from getting to us.
Yeah.
She points at the waterfall. Can't stop that. That's too much water.
And still no sign of our companions. Tanya sighs, looks at Abigail. Maybe our goo friend of yours can determine how we get out of here.
So, yeah, can I like fly around and look at the area carefully while trying to make sure I don't run into any oozes since we've been having luck with that?
I mean, there's like lots of holes in the wall. The rock here is very porous, so it might have gotten jostled loose by that tremor from earlier. But the only entrance that most of your friends can use is the one in the ceiling. And it's like full of water.
So there's nothing that really stands out in this room then.
You're not going to like the
Sorry,
answer
go
for how you're supposed to do this because it's dumb.
Because I could freeze the water.
Like, I just want to point out that this is like one of those very bad writing situations where there's a very specific solution that the writers had in mind. And it's dumb that they made it so specific that it's kind of hard to think anything else.
Oh, cool. So we're like in that like moment of the RPG game where there's a puzzle clearly.
The obviously intended solution is that you all sit on top of the fucking gelatinous cube while it floats to the top, because you know
What?
that's the first thing people are gonna think about. This is the only exit in the place, by the way, which is another problem that I have.
There's legitimately no person who knows what gelatinous cube is who would ever sit on a effing gelatinous cube.
So,
even if they're
then-
friend.
can I use my magic, my water manipulation?
What do you want to do
make,
with
like,
it?
I want to make an opening in the water so we don't drown trying to get out of here.
No, that's not impossible. The problem is that this water is very tumultuous and very unruly. It will take some strong convincing to do what you want it to.
I was thinking if I could do that, I could also then try to freeze it and make like a temporary pathway. 'Cause I
All
can
right.
Water mastery.
All right.
I could bring in my friend and have them carry us up.
I mean, if we're following Minecraft rules, once one of his body parts is inside the water, he'll just start floating up, right? You can just sit on the other edge that's poking out.
What?
Yeah, like that.
Just-
I'm
Also,
very
I can just
intelligent.
Teleport you guys out.
Hmm?
I mean, if I can see through, I can just teleport you guys. The only problem here is points at the right.
Aisling, can you roll me some nature as you decide to concoct this magical plan?
It is magical and a plan. Nature. Can I hero point that?
Yes, you can.
I'm going to hero point that.
Don't forget that you all have one large shared reserve. Please maintain it.
Oh, the twofer.
I get
what?
a hero point.
Oh, that stings, man. That
Net-
stings.
Net 0.
We actually watched Aisling fade from reality, like into
Yeah, so
sparkles.
nothing happens to our hero point reservoir.
Forgets what a tree is for like a hot 5 minutes.
And technically, we should be down one because I used one and forgot to take it down. So, beep.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay. Yeah, I can roll an actual one on our party.
Yeah.
This is water.
This is
Okay,
water.
So yeah, I'm not sure how to get us out of here. There's a lot of water up there.
Oh my goodness.
Holy. F-
Can I climb up like beside the waterfall? Like
I think it's just like a hole in the ceiling where the water's coming through. It's not like alongside a wall.
Yeah, Tanya points that we clearly need to get out of here that way. Maybe if there was some kind of rope we had. I doubt we could use like a rope and some metal. Wait. we tie a rope to me, and Aisling teleports me to the hole.
Well, and then you just kind of starfish in the hole, and kind of everyone have to climb up the rope.
I'm sorry. My life has been nothing but a constant downward spiral as I pretty much nonstop think about killing myself. I'm gonna be dead before the end of October at this rate. Let's just put it like that.
Oh,
People, I can't take this anymore. I spent like 2 hours last night just sitting awake in my bed, thinking about how much everything fucking sucks and gets worse every day.
it's
And now,
it's so
I get bothered at 10 in the morning. I get called for all kinds of stupid financial shit. I don't need every fucking facet of my life. Someone in my family is going to be dead before the end of October, and it's not going to be me. And then it's going to be me. Because that's how this is going. That's the fucking trajectory this is taking. There's no mercy. No fucking mercy. Me attempting to move out of the house has just called upon the bad luck of every corner of the universe onto me. Ugh.
and just breathe, Safi.
What?
You know, just just take a breath.
You know,
refocus yourself.
Taking a breath would probably work if it didn't immediately result in my brain resetting to the new default, which is God fucking damn it. Anyway, how about we call it here for today and we'll do something else next time. I need a moment.
All right.
It's also late anyway. It's like 10. We're almost there.
Just refocus yourself, Safi. I think things will be